All right, everybody, welcome in another edition of TigerBait Live. I guess this is our third show, Emily,
Mhm.
and of course, my co-host Emily Ward again this week, and uh, an odd week because LSU doesn't have a Thursday night game, and of course, they're heading to Austin on Sunday, and LSU moves into the top five. But Texas knocks off South Carolina on Sunday, but they got to go to Lexington tomorrow night, and then host LSU at 2 o'clock on ABC Sunday. And this is a huge game. And we've talked about it multiple times. The SEC is, not just in men's basketball, the premier conference in America, but the women. Most of the last couple since Kim's been here, typically there's only been a couple of teams from the SEC in the top 25. Now you've had seven. If you want to count others receiving votes, you could have 8 teams or 9 on the back end. And but the next couple of weeks are going to be pretty telling. And so, with that defeat of South Carolina, LSU is now on the hunt to win an SEC title, which Kim has not done since she arrived here.
Mhm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And you tell me, Texas going to Lexington tomorrow night and then have to turn around and come home and host LSU. Sometimes you can get a little rusty if you don't play. Who's really got an advantage?
Oh, I think there's pros and cons to both. Of course, I said either last week or the week before, when you have a bye game, aka LSU having not having to play tomorrow, pretty much you get the whole week to work on yourself and what you've done in the past, but then you also get a few extra days to prepare for Texas. And then but you kind of get out of the rhythm, like you said, you kind of like you don't practice or not practice as much, but you don't have to travel, you don't have to play another game. So you do get extra rest, but then you're also kind of out of routine. But then for Texas to go and play at Kentucky, that'll be a great game. I'm excited to watch that because of like Kentucky just lost to Ole Miss last week, and so of course they want to win because they obviously are one of the top contenders too. That'll definitely be a tough place to for Texas to go to and then have to turn around and play LSU. It's almost like how we had like last year we played South Carolina and then turned around and lost to Mississippi State. Obviously, Kentucky and South Carolina might not technically have the same matchups and that kind of stuff, but it is hard to go off of playing and Texas just beat South Carolina. So having that momentum, it's either going to hurt or help them, I think, cuz then it can hurt them because they're exhausted probably from playing South Carolina. I mean, they're always a tough game. And then also it's like they're overlooking Kentucky. So I think they definitely also have to be careful on how they approach the next two games too.
And what is it going to say about them, the Longhorns, if they beat Kentucky on the road and then beat LSU? That 3 game onslaught, everybody in the top 10. LSU moved up to number 5,
Hmm.
and of course, and Kentucky moved up from 9 to 8, and of course, just beat South Carolina, ending their 50+ SEC win streak. So yeah, it's going to be a tough
Hmm.
test, but Kim having been in the South in the Big 12, she knows Austin, she knows it, and I think her and Coach Starkey and the whole staff have probably been watching a lot of Texas film,
Yes.
and then they'll
Oh
get to
yeah.
watch tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, I guarantee you, as soon as the game last Sunday was finished, all of them were just watching film on Texas, watching that game against South Carolina. I mean, I know for me, I was watching the LSU game, I was at the game, and then I had the
Yeah, I
South
saw you.
Carolina Texas game open because it was a great game.
Emily gets the
But
great seat. She gets to sit right on the court.
just for that game, my other seats are a little higher up, but some of my friends, the Lipsy family, they're awesome. They have
Mhm.
courtside seats. So I was lucky enough to go to the Tennessee game. Um, but yeah, they've definitely been watching film. I know they have scouted and they'll watch the Texas South Carolina game and look at both Texas and South Carolina. Obviously, they will focus more on Texas because we're about to play them, but I know that they're also looking at South Carolina and how Texas beat them too.
You know, look, I think the Tiger fans have been treated some really good games. Another good one in the PMAC this past Sunday.
Hmm.
Um, but again, I know we talk about it every week, and I was talking about it on another show earlier today. We want to discount this team because we always want to look at what they don't have, and we want to talk about in the paint. But man, I tell you what, last Sunday, Jersey Wolfenbarger had some nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that outlet pass. She had a couple of key plays in that game. Samaya again, I think, I don't want to say her getting ejected from 2 games back, but I think that lit something in her. I could be wrong, but I think it did. And that's why I brought it up in the post game. That could be a catalyst for her the rest of the way.
Yeah. Oh, the post players have stepped it up these past 2 games. And I mean, yes, they needed to, and especially Jersey with Samaya being out, but Jersey didn't necessarily have to keep going with that momentum in this last game because Samaya was back. But I think both of them did a great job getting those rebounds, like we said the first week, even if they don't have to score 20 points or get 20 rebounds like Aneesah, but if they can just get 2 rebounds here or 5 points here, just kind of do what they can do, then that's going to make a world of a difference. And they did that. And like they had a ton of assists, tons of key rebounds, all of that kind of stuff too.
I'm scrolling the stats while you're talking, and I should have done this ahead of time. Because we want to talk about LSU going up bigs and not having the front court. But I'm looking for rebounds. Where is LSU in rebounds? Number 2 in offensive rebounds and number 3 in defensive rebounds. So what does that tell you?
Tells you that
Tennessee number 1 in offensive rebounds, and LSU's behind Oklahoma and Kentucky in defensive rebounds. And rebound percentage, offensive rebound percentage, LSU's number 1.
wow,
That's crazy.
well,
And that's a lot of Morrow.
Yeah. It's also, I think we make a lot of shots too. We have good outside shooters this year, which I don't know if we've had like the same amount of outside shooters as we have in the past, but I feel like we're not missing a lot of shots too. Like I know we're 2 and 3, um, but I don't think we're missing that many shots for the post players to go in there and get the rebounds. With Tennessee, they have the height, so that kind of makes sense that they're above us because their guards are tall, their post players are tall. And that was like that's the hardest part about them is their length. So that makes sense. And then of course Oklahoma has those 2 big girls down in the post players. But I think like you said, we like to focus on the negatives a lot. I think that's like all sports fans. They just like, oh, we can't do this, or like for baseball, oh, we don't have a pitcher, or we don't have a left-handed pitcher, whatever it is. But we say we don't have a strong post player to go with Aneesah, but that's just not true. Like Samaya and Jersey are obviously getting their work done. Um, they're getting rebounds. They're doing what they're supposed to. So I don't know. You have to look. You have to switch your mindset on like, oh, we don't have this, but we actually do.
Right. But then it's also like who in America has the 3?
Yeah,
Right.
I know. Well, and like at the last game,
And Morrow always gets discounted because she's not 6'3".
yeah. Mm-hmm. But she knows how to rebound.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying, boy, that, you were talking about next year, as a guy who covers recruiting, I'm always looking ahead. You want to talk about somebody you're going to miss. You're going to miss Aneesah Morrow next year. And you're going to realize how big time she is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about one of our sponsors, and then I see Jock Doucette warming up in the bullpen. He's joining our show tonight. But I want to talk about Dykes Electric, the official electrical company of TigerBait. And no matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. Need a brand new 10-story office building? They can wire that. 200,000 square foot warehouse you need to build? They can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building? They can wire that. Changing out a breaker, a whole electrical panel, or just a receptacle in your home or office? They can wire that. Upgrading the old lighting in your office, home, or office? They can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. And make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. Big Tiger fans, locally owned and operated, Louisiana company, and huge LSU fans. And there you have it, Dykes Electrical. All right, Let's add Jacques in. What's up, Jacques?
Hi.
You're muted. I think your mic's muted, Jacques. Now
There
you're
we go.
good.
Sorry
There
about
you go.
that. Emily, Mike, good to be with y'all. I got a stupid angle here on the camera, so you may have to see the bottom of the not in my house, Mikey. So
That's
do
all
what I
right.
can. I'm just gonna hold this right here. So how's everyone doing tonight? We got a winning basketball team. It's 25-1, heading towards March Madness, and a huge game on Sunday. 2 top 5 teams going head to head. ABC, national audience, and looking forward to that. So
is that gonna be Carolyn Peck again? I swear, Carolyn Peck. Emily, I looked over and Grant was standing next to me, and I'm like, Carolyn Peck's here again. It's about she might need to buy some real estate here.
Every single game. I know. I realized that the other day too. Like all of them.
And she's done men's. She does men's games too, right, Jacques?
Mhm.
I mean,
yeah, she's been around for a long time. I'll tell you a quick story. We have a guy here at the station who, this is back in 2008. This was like the last Final Four of the 5 straight that LSU made. Sylvia Fowles, her last run, it was in Tampa, Florida. We had a guy here at the station who had this big crush on Carolyn Peck. All right. So I see her over in Tampa, and I get a video. I say, Coach, would you please tell Big Rob hello for me, and just say, hey, Big Rob, it's Carolyn, miss you here in Tampa. And she did the video. We sent it to him. It was funny. So, yeah, a great player and coach. She's been doing this for a long time. I mean, that goes back already 17 years ago. So she's been in broadcasting for a minute. But yeah, she's been doing men's games as well.
I need to see about getting her on the show or doing something, because I mean, when she's done as many games as she's done in Baton Rouge, she's got to know her way around town. She's probably knows where to eat, where her favorite restaurants. I mean, but I mean, she doesn't just do women; she does men's games.
Very tall woman too. Like, you may not know that, like, because she's sitting doing the broadcast. If you ever meet her in person, I mean, she's, what do you think, Emily? About 6'5"?
Yeah,
6'4"?
she's like a basketball player. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite comments is like when I meet someone new and they're just like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were as tall as you are." Because she's like, everyone is just like, you look shorter when you're on the court than in real life, and I'm like, yeah, we're actually
sitting in
pretty
a
tall.
chair.
Yeah.
And real quick here, just great memories of Emily Ward and her mother and her family in Dallas, Texas, as LSU won their first ever national championship. I guess it's going to be 2 years here coming up. But what an amazing year that year for LSU to 34-2 was the final record, and two games at home, had to grind your way past Michigan, and then go to Greenville, South Carolina, right? And then get by Miami, the team before Miami. Oh, well, that was the Coach Starkey and said that was the best team you guys played, Utah, in the Sweet 16.
That's what he said. I think a lot of people say that. Do you agree?
That was a very stressful game because, like, I think Angel fouled out in the Utah game. It was Angel, Lex, and someone else, I think. Someone.
Well, the young lady had
Flau'jae
2 free throws. The young lady from Utah had 2 free throws, down 1.
Yeah.
And she airballs. I mean, she was a great shooter too. She airballed 1 and she missed.
She was like an 80% free throw shooter. And when she airballed the first one, Lex looked at me and she was like, she's not making this. Like, you cannot just airball a free throw and then make it. Like, it gets so much in your head. And she's like, we're about to win it. I'm like, we got to get the rebound if she misses it.
Well, I think Utah kind of had the rebound, and LaDasia Williams knocked it out.
It was Samaya and Day down there. Yeah. That was a stressful game.
Yeah, and Emily, you can speak to this. Obviously, Angel Reese gets a ton of pub, and rightfully so, and Alexis Morris. But without LaDasia Williams, LSU's not a national champion. And, I mean, because of her personality, she was kind of quiet. She didn't do interviews. She wasn't really out there in terms of NIL and all that stuff. But, man, she was just solid double-double every night. And then the tournament, she was really good. In that Utah game, she was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. She had to guard the 5-player every single game, and it's rough down there in the post, and especially when you have Angel, who a lot of people attract. She will pass it off to Day, and then she's wide open. But Day's just a very calm person on and off the court. She took care of her schoolwork. Obviously she graduated at Missouri and then came here, but she never caused any trouble. She would always like help me gather everyone and like make sure we were all on time, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, like you said, we would not have won without Day. And she's doing great. She's overseas playing right now. So she's awesome.
Well, Jacques, we were talking earlier about how big this Texas game is, and of course, they've got to go and play at number 8 Kentucky tomorrow night. That's a 6:00 game, and LSU, of course, this is their bye week where they don't have a Thursday game. So we're trying to figure out if it's an advantage. Certainly, that they have a home court advantage, but Kim being in the Big 12, she's been Austin many times. But they get the game plan for Texas all week and watch them again tomorrow night.
Well, I think this is kind of the second bye LSU's got. Remember that one press conference we went to, and she's like, "Why are we playing this game on a Monday instead of a Sunday or something like that?" But they had a break in there another time as well. But yeah, I'm not sure how you break it down exactly. I would think that Texas will whatever exhaustion they have physically from playing a game at Kentucky Thursday night. Who I just checked it out. I mean, Kentucky's in the top 10 of one of the polls, number 13 in the other. So that's going to be a tough game for them. But their home crowd, I'm sure, will be behind them. They'll have a huge home crowd there at the Moody Center and whatnot. And LSU is playing things a little bit differently. I mean, Miracle Shepherd the last 2 games has gotten a ton of minutes. It was funny. I was looking.
Sheep had a great Sunday.
I wanted to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. She only played 7 minutes against Mississippi State. I know probably deep down she probably wanted to play a little bit more against her former team, right, that she transferred from. But I think in the last 2 games, she's played 26 and 28 minutes and, had a very solid 8 points. I think she had 5 rebounds. I think she had 2 steals, a block in this last game against Tennessee. And obviously the LSU bench, as Emily can speak to, played very well. It's amazing that Kaylin Gilbert has this amazing game at Tennessee. The first time around, hits the game winner, and I think she was it 8 of 53 in the next 7 games from the field. That's what happens. I mean, sometimes shooting comes and goes. Defense can always be there, but then in this game, she comes back and.
But she said it's the motivation of Tennessee because they were too late picking up the phone on NIL. That she won the press conference with that line.
Emily, it seems Gilbert has got this chip on her shoulder, like this, Michael Jordan, and I took that personal. Like, I think the first time she was up at the podium, remember, Mike, she said people were bad talking me in the portal. They said I wasn't a team player. They said I don't play defense. And then this time when she's up there, she's like, yeah, Tennessee was late in the portal to give me a call. So that's motivation. So she plays with a chip.
The defense part of it was true. I mean, but that was part of the sell that Kim said, you come here, you're going to learn to play defense. Right?
Yeah, you play defense all right.
It's also having Starkey on you, right?
Yeah,
Emily?
It's having all of them on you all the time. But I think with the transfer portal, which I didn't ever go on it, but just speaking from like my teammates and everything, it is a stressful time because you're like very vulnerable. It's the same process in high school pretty much. But like people can be like, oh, we're interested, and be like, nope, never mind. Like you don't play defense. Like they will point out your weaknesses. Like they are not scared. They're like, oh, well, we didn't want you because such and such or whatever. So I can definitely see where KG was like, oh, how whatever past she has with Tennessee, she's going to use that to her advantage because she had 2 phenomenal games versus them. Like, great. Especially because Flau'jae wasn't really feeling it versus Tennessee. So she just next one up. Her and Jersey and Miracle, too.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Emily, you can see it. I mean, Emily, the national championship team you played on was 7 transfers.
Yeah.
And so you guys blended and got along. And we've seen Mike and I cover another sport where the ball is oval. And some of those guys they took in over there, sometimes you hit and sometimes you miss. Yeah. And when you miss, coaches lose jobs and so forth. So I guess it's kind of stressful.
Ohio State hit, Florida State did not.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
no, it's like a whole different ball game, the transfer portal and recruiting, and God bless people that have to do that. Coach G, don't know how he does it. It's awesome. Oh,
real
Caitlin
quick
Rice,
before we
all
dive
of
in,
them.
I want to get some questions and comments from the fans. We got a lot of them in here. We hadn't hit to any of those yet, but Emily, we always bring up Coach Starkey, but is there someone who's kind of like a quiet assassin on the bench, an assistant? Like, is Kaylin, can she get after you, or is it Rita's always seems happy-go-lucky, but can he get after you too?
Yeah, they can all definitely get at.
All
Kaylin
right.
is more of the one that, like, oh, I messed up on this play. She's gonna teach me what I did wrong. Like she won't. She'll yell, but she'll explain. Like she's always the one. Well, at least when I was there, I know roles have kind of changed, but she was always the one that would like stay after us after practice, before practice, like learning all the plays and like really trying to help us too. But yeah, Coach G can get mad at the guards. I don't know how Simone is with the guards or the post. I don't know how she is. I'm sure she
I would
gets
imagine with
upset too.
Simone, she's like the old E.F. Hutton. That might be a little old for you, but it used to be with when E.F. Hutton's talks, you listen.
Yeah.
Is that what
Mhm.
Simone? I can
Probably.
imagine her being
Yeah.
like, you listen.
Or like she doesn't get too mad all the time, and when she does, you listen. Or doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right,
Well,
here we
somebody
go.
told me the other day, Mike, our friend Darren DeQuano, he texted me, said they've got more coaches on the bench than players. I mean, I think they've got 10
Yeah.
coaches
And
altogether.
all the coaches sit at the front too, so it's pretty noticeable.
Her
But
alone. Here
all do
goes.
that.
It's always the Emily Love Fest. Yes, I love that Emily's becoming a weekly guest. She's awesome and she gives the best insight. And I
Oh,
really like
thank
the
you.
fact that she keeps her bed made. Her parents are happy. They taught her right. All right, let's see what else we got. Ethan says, "Go LSU, Mike. Got to take care of the ball. Can't afford to turn over the ball. This Texas team is elite eight material for sure."
Oh yeah, I think
How much have
all
y'all
the
seen Texas? I've only seen little bits.
I've seen bits and pieces. I know them from the past, and obviously, like you said earlier, Kim knows them too. But I think moving forward in any of these games, you have to take care of the ball. I think we got lucky on a few. Maybe not lucky is the right word, but we did have quite a bit of turnovers in some of the other games, and we came out with a win. This is the stretch where everyone is exhausted, so you definitely have to just take care of it, and you know what you're supposed to do, so you just have to execute it.
A chance to really improve the resume too, Mike. I mean, Kim Mulkey, what's the highest seed she's gotten in the tournament since she's been here? I mean, even when they won the title, weren't they a 3?
We were a 3, yeah.
So
we were a 4 her first year, and then a 3 my senior year. I don't know, 4 maybe last year or 3, maybe.
Yeah, but in each of the last 2 years, you kind of thought they got ripped off both years, where they should have been one higher.
I'm just saying their only loss is to the defending national champion on the road at South Carolina. They've beaten some ranked teams like Oklahoma, Tennessee twice. I mean, they've got some nice wins on the resume, but to go on the road and beat a team ranked in the top 5 in Austin would be a huge feather in their cap.
Well, and not only that, regardless of if Texas beats Kentucky in Lexington tomorrow night, LSU still has to go to Kentucky. I mean, the difference is LSU's strength of schedule because of how loaded the SEC is this year, and you also had some nice wins in December in some of those ACC challenge and you had another one in there. I mean, Stanford and Virginia. I haven't looked to see what Stanford's at right now. But there's some nice wins there. But when you've had 7 SEC teams in the top 25 almost every week, whereas every year since Kim gotten here before, you've had 2. So, but you got Kentucky after you got Ole Miss, Alabama's ranked. I mean, the only unranked team I think is Georgia that's left. Is that right?
Well, I just know that through the years, Alabama was putrid in women's basketball. They were bad. So this coach has done an amazing job of turning them around and getting them ranked. Coach Curry, like she has.
Yeah, and her
I love
her
Coach
and Kim are
Curry.
good friends.
Yeah, her and my mom are good friends too.
I think I'd heard a story, Mike, when Kim Mulkey should have been named SEC Coach of the Year her first year when she took a team that won 9 games and won 26. I think she only got 2 votes for Coach of the Year, and Coach Curry, I think, was one of those 2 that voted for to be Coach of the Year. But
well, I know for a fact because a friend of mine covers the Gamecocks. When the word was getting out that Kim might take the LSU job, Dawn Staley asked one of my buddies, said, "You think that's going to happen?" Like she was getting. But look, she's taking care of business, hadn't she? Else she hadn't broken through yet. But look, they all knew what was coming. But now the whole league is up their game. Everybody's, look what Kentucky's doing. Everybody's going out and spending money, and college women's college basketball has gotten big.
Emily, what about this time of year too as a player? I mean, y'all are all young women between 18 and 22 years old, but Coach Mulkey always talks about this time of year. Man, everyone's tired. We're just trying to make it to the finish line of the regular season and the SEC tournament so we can rest up, and then everyone gets excited about the big dance, and it's kind of like you get your second wind again. So what about this time of the year in terms of, stamina and conditioning and all that?
Yeah, this time is exhausting. Like you said, it's tiring. Like Mulkey always says, it's very tiring. You kind of hit that first little round of SEC games starting in January, and then you're kind of in the middle of it, and then you're so close to the finish line, but you're not there yet. You still have to take care of business. So it is hard, and then especially when you're having to travel so much. Like we would on our games on Thursday, we would leave after practice or after class on Wednesdays, go Thursday, then have to wake up, go to class on Friday, then go to practice again. So it's hard just being an athlete, but then you also add the student part to it too. I told Mike, I think the first week or something, you're also starting to get into your midterms in this season and during Final Fours and all of that. Like I took a test during our Final Four weekend or like Final Four part. But it is hard. You definitely have to find a fine line between resting and recovering, but then also you're not done yet. You still have to put in the work. But I think the coaches they've done it for many years, so they definitely know when to push you and when to let you relax.
Well, I think that's also one thing that Kim has. She's I think had a lot of really good students, right?
Yeah.
And
they don't mess. They don't mess with.
I think Morrow's an honor student, isn't she? Or she's.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Gets an A+ in rebounding.
Flau'jae, Mikaylah, yeah.
Yeah, Jacques, we were talking that before you came on. How big are they going to miss Aneesah Morrow next year?
Yeah, I was thinking about next year's team, which will be obviously carried by Flau'jae, I'm assuming, as a senior, and Mikaylah Williams as a junior. But Aneesah has really, the bigs have been a little slow to, Samaya's coming back from that knee injury. I think she's had some mental struggles there. Wolfenbarger, it's funny, when she played at Arkansas, you look at her numbers, she took a lot of 3-pointers over there. She was playing on the outside. And, like Coach said, she's thin. She's not your typical inside, banger and whatnot, but she's gotten better and contributed more. And then, Del Rosario has gotten a little more confident in recent games. But, Morrow, undersized as she is, to get all the rebounds, she's always hitting the floor, always diving, can shoot from the outside. she's a machine. And so she will definitely be missed. And, and you got her from DePaul when she averaged 25 points a game. You say, well, that's great up there, but the team wasn't winning that much. And it's like, well, how will she do down here? Well, she's done A-okay. She's certainly proven she can play at any level.
Well, you did say you're saying I've heard some people say Flau'jae coming back a 50-50 proposition.
Well, maybe so.
Slam dunk.
Maybe.
Do you know something, Emily?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her, but I do know that her college degree is probably very important to her just because of how she is as a person. But I don't want to – I have no idea what she's doing. I haven't heard any insights to you. But
does she need like 6 hours? How far away is she?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know she's definitely – if I know Flau'jae, she's going to want a degree. But I'm not sure if she's far ahead because, of course, we have to take summer classes all the time. So like that, I was able to graduate in 3 years. So it is possible to graduate early just because we are always on campus. But I'm not sure exactly how many hours.
Well, she comes back there, but boy, if she were to go, you want to talk about really how important the portal is going to be. But her coming back, like Jock said, with Mikaylah and then Jada Richard and others, you can see the nucleus there. And a great freshman class coming in, and then you won't need so much in the portal.
Well, it's I guess I don't want to say worthless conversation, but can you imagine if Angel had another year at the table? you imagine if she would have come back and be on this team right now, teaming with Morrow on the inside, the way Flau'jae and Mikaylah are shooting on the outside? My God.
It's a national championship team with that.
Yeah. I guess it was just so much, I think, and it's not a negative on Angel, but just her being on the team and the road trips and the press conferences and all that stuff, I think just got a little exhausting, for everyone. And obviously she's doing very well, and you can't say, well, she should have come back. I'm just daydreaming for a moment there. Think about Angel Reese on this team.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I wonder if we're going to have a over time with these caliber of players that have been in the program where we see that, where Angel's kind of the outlier and almost everybody goes the distance.
Well, and that's what's making,
last year.
I mean, the men are about to start a game here at Arkansas, or if they haven't already, but, that's what's making a difference between, the women are averaging over 11,000 or whatever the last few nights. I think the men, they got less than 7,000 paid. I mean, the crowds are much bigger, and I think a reason, obviously, the winning, but, and Emily Ward, for example, Emily didn't play a ton of minutes, but everyone loves her because they knew her. She was on the team for 4 years, and they identify with that. The men were throwing guys together. They're here for 3 months and they're gone, and we don't really get the chance to know them. And as opposed to Flau'jae, who's, in her third year, and other players on the team that are going to go the distance, that people identify with that and they get to know them, as opposed to other guys who are here and gone.
All right. Well, let's, before we head out of here, y'all want to make some predictions? LSU's going to win in Austin Sunday. I'm saying they're going to get the W.
Yeah, I will say I did a prediction for the last game that we had, and I was only 4 points off of the total score.
Well, that's why we have you on here.
No, I don't know about Texas because it'll be a very close game.
What do you think, Jock?
I mean, what is there any negative for me, or is there any reason to say they're going to lose here? I mean, I think it's going to be tough. I'm not sure if they're going to pull it out, but I don't know a whole lot about Texas other than just glancing at them. But yeah, let's see if they can pull it out.
I like LSU with the healthy legs and having the bye week, and Texas having a big game in Lexington. I think that could be the difference, even though they have LSU at home.
And before you let me go, Emily, I want to know what's it like working with Patrick Wright, because Patrick has been doing this a long time. Emily Ward joins me now. He's been in a long time, and he's been doing it way before anybody cared, if you know what I'm saying. So he deserves to be there. So
I love Mr. Patrick. When we won, I was so happy that he was there on the radio. That was very new to me last year. Like I mean, I was communications major, but I never really thought about radio or anything like that. And then they were just like, "Hey, you want to do it?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" But the way that he just sets me up and sets Shaida up, it's like phenomenal. Like he'll lead you exactly where he wants you to, what he wants you to say. But no, he loves the team. He loves the girls. He loved traveling. And he's also a teacher at Dunham too. So he's got two different careers and lives, but he is awesome. He's just so happy.
We need to get him on.
Yes, he would probably love to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He can tell you all the horror stories of trying to broadcast games back in the day, and phone lines and all the other problems he had to go through just to get a broadcast on the air. So
I can picture that equipment now as old Zercoms and having to have a phone line.
Hey, they still have the old equipment too. One game it was not working and he was getting mad, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." Happy that is on you and not me, because I don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's Jacques, man. Thanks for hopping on with us, Emily. Another great show, and we'll do another next week. These things have been picking up. I mean, this show got a lot of views. So if y'all enjoyed the show, please hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll do another one next week. But thanks to you both.
Yeah,
thanks, Mike.
Y'all have a good one.
Night.
Bye, everyone.